Hi, it's Chantal here again. Welcome back to Shanti Bloom. In today's video, I'm going to be concluding on our little talk about money being one of the challenges of a new beginning. You know, it is so funny how we shy away from talking money. Meanwhile, money is one of the reasons behind a lot of the cannots in our lives. I cannot go back to school because I do not have the tuition. I cannot propose to her yet because I don't have the money to settle down. We cannot have that baby this year because we do not have the funds. I cannot start that business. We cannot go ahead with that church project because we do not have the money. Cannot. So if money plays an important role or is a great tool that will help us on this journey towards pursuing our purpose in life, then it is just important that we should understand how we can get to that place of financial freedom. Now, there are so many things we can talk about under this subject of gaining financial freedom. But at the end of the day, it boils down to savings, or at least it starts from there. And you may be thinking, well, how am I going to save? You know, I can barely make ends meet. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Well, relax. In this video, I will share with you 5 secrets to save money on a low income. Number 1, have the right money mindset. If we must fight any battle and conquer, it starts from here. You know, there are so many people who are going around in circles when it comes to money because of the wrong mindset that they have about money. You know, there are people who believe that money is bad, it's evil, it's vanity, and so we should stay away from it. That is a wrong money mindset because money by itself, lying right there on the table, is not capable of doing any good or evil to anybody. The good or evil that comes out of money depends on the hand in which that money has been placed. So if you are constantly thinking about the evil that's going to come out of money, then probably it is you and your heart that needs a change and not the money. On the other hand, you have these people who believe that money is good, but it should be spent here and now. You know, tomorrow is not guaranteed. I may die tomorrow, so why save? Why invest? You know, no matter what happens, let's just enjoy our lives here and now because tomorrow is not guaranteed. But guess what? You have been saying that for years and years and years, and you're still not dead. You're alive and broke. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not believe in hoarding money. You know, there are people who just chase money from morning, afternoon, evening. It's more like money has become the purpose instead of the tool that's helping them to accomplish their purpose in life. And even worse, at times they are stingy even to themselves. The point I'm making here is that we have to have the mindset that thinks of a rainy day. Joseph was somebody with that kind of a mindset, and that is why he was able to save Egypt and its surrounding nations. If he was not thinking about a rainy day, even his dream of his parents, his brothers coming to bow before him would not have come to pass. And there's yet another group of people who have just lost hope altogether, and that is most of us. We feel that our situation can never change, either because we have made some very bad financial decisions in the past and now we find ourselves in a very bad place, or we just feel that we are not lucky. You know, this thing of financial freedom is not something that is attainable for us. If you do not see yourself coming out of that terrible financial situation, you're less likely to take any steps towards financial freedom. Let me ask you, what do you see in your financial future? Do you see yourself coming out of your debts? Do you see yourself coming out of this terrible situation that you are in right now? When you see it, there will be a fire in you to go get it. I've spent some time on this point because our greatest battles are up here. When you conquer the battle of the mind, all the other practical tips I'll be giving you will come easily. And for us to have the right money mindset, you really have to know the purpose of money and the source of money, which is what I discussed in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, make sure you check it. I'm going to be leaving it in the description box below. Number 2 is an obvious one, but it's equally one that is easier said than done, and that is to reduce your expenses. And I know you may be asking yourself, how do I reduce my expenses when I'm already living such a basic life? Believe me, even with your low income, there are many ways that you can still reduce your expenses. And I'm going to share a few of those ways with you, but I want you to keep at the back of your mind that these are things that you are doing for a short time. You're doing it for a period of time so that tomorrow you can get into a better place. So the little sacrifices that you're making now is nothing compared to, you know, the abundance that you're going to experience later. You can reduce your expenses by separating your needs from your wants and pay more attention on the needs. But we have to also be very careful, because at times our wants disguise as our needs, right? What are the basic needs that we have? Maybe food, shelter, clothing, maybe transportation. But you can want and it will disguise as a need. I want clothes. Do you really need to buy new clothes every month, and must those clothes be designer clothes? Do I need to drive expensive cars? I need shelter, but do I need to live in a very expensive house? So you have to make sure that you measure things. Where am I? How is my income? Can I really afford this thing? So that you do not move into wants thinking that you are still in that zone of a need. I still remember when we had made up our minds that we really wanted to improve on our finances, and we were wondering, we already live simple, basic lives. What is there for us to cut back on? And we were looking around, but then we realized that we had TVs in all of the rooms, and we had, all those TV packages that they give. We had everything, but did we really need all of it? It's true that our family, we like to hang around, watch movies and all, but we did not need all of those channels and all of those TVs. So honestly, you may think that there is nothing to cut back on, but if you sit down and are intentional about it, trust me, you're going to pick out so many things that you really do not need. Transportation is an essential, but how can I cut back on my transportation? Maybe instead of owning a car, I can decide to hop on trains and buses if they are available and if they are accessible. How can I cut back on clothing? Maybe I will not shop as often as I used to, or I'm not going to just go out for those designer clothing. What I discovered? There are times that I've seen the same clothing, the same brand, but there are different prices just because they are in different shops. But guess what? There are people who will go and buy it in that expensive shop, not because and that rather that's just a proof that they're not buying because they needed a cloth. They're buying something else. They're either buying some form of security, they're buying something to fill in a void. Material things will never fill a void that is in there. Material things will not give you your true identity. You are who you are, not because of what you put on, what you drive, and where you live. When it comes to shelter, which is also an essential need, how do I cut back on an essential need as shelter? You may have to downsize. There are a lot of people, especially older people, who have downsized their homes after their kids have all grown up and they've left the home. So if it means that you have to downsize, even if it means you have to share a space with a friend or a family member, remember it's just for a little time, and then you are going to move into something greater. I can testify that this works, because there was a time that for my husband and I, our siblings moved in with us for a short time because they had a goal, they had a vision, they had to accomplish some things in school and all that. This was a short time of maybe inconvenience with space and maybe some privacy, but this little sacrifice was for something greater, because not long after that we had to be celebrating graduations and then weddings and then babies. So do not get tired of the little sacrifices you're making now. It is temporal. It is for something greater later, and you're going to keep making more sacrifices and moving up. That's just how it works. Another thing is DIY. When you really want to cut down on your expenses, you're going to learn how to do some things yourself. Find out what are some things that you can do yourself around the house. If there's a repair that you can repair yourself, go to YouTube, figure it out, repair it, instead of paying thousands of dollars for it to be repaired. When I was relocating, my daughter had a very strong dresser. It was a sturdy dresser. It was good. There was nothing wrong with it apart from the fact that kids, they might have written on them and things like that. I thought of putting that away to go get another one when this is really still good. I decided to do what? Just refurbish it. All I had to do was get some paint, because I also wanted it to match with the new colors I was doing for her room, and I painted it. And I just bought maybe a few other hardwares to make it look better. So at times you can save up by just doing a DIY, by just refurbishing something or recycling something, and it would save you. But I would say that when it comes to do it yourself, DIY, always count the cost. There have been DIY projects that I got into and they ended up costing me more than if I had gone into the store to just pick up something new. However, most of my DIYs, I really do not do them for the saving purposes. I do them at times because they're just activities that, you know, I'm doing to keep my kids busy, or I just enjoy doing them. But if you are really doing them because you want to save, then you want to really think. Like I gave you the example of me refurbishing my daughter's dresser. I already had so many things at home from past projects, so all I really needed was paint and, you know, maybe some hardware. But if you have to maybe get so many things from scratch, you may end up thinking that maybe I should just add a few more dollars and I get to the furniture store and buy something new. So always keep that at the back of your mind. My husband is also a handy person, so there are a lot of things that he's able to do around the house by himself. You know, thank God for YouTube, right? We're able to just go on YouTube and fix maybe a little thing here or there. But like I said, always make sure that you really weigh it. You know, is it really worth me destroying my house or destroying this thing because I'm trying to do it by myself, or, you know, I rather pay for it? So you have to really be careful with that. In a nutshell, I would say it boils down to budgeting properly. When you have considered maybe separating needs from wants, you have considered coupons and sales and DIYs, and cutting down on your, you know, transportation, cutting down on your housing and all of that. Whatever is left for you to do, you have to budget properly. Do you always know how much you plan on spending when you head out of the house? When you are in that store and you're picking everything, do you have the prices in mind? You know, that people who feel like it is a pride, you know, it is a prideful thing. I'm a big spender. I don't check prices. You know, even when I'm going to buy food, I don't even look if it's good or it's bad. I get it. I go home. I realize they're all rotten. I throw it and I go back to the store. That's foolishness. In order to really follow through with all these tips on reducing your expenses, you have to tell yourself that every dollar counts. Every franc CFA, every naira, every rupee, it counts. The thing is that at times we're like, oh my goodness, all this trouble just to save $1, just to save 2, just to save 5. Let me tell you, it takes drops of water to fill an ocean. That journey of 1,000 miles, it starts with a step, and it is made up of a lot of those individual steps. Even our God, He makes oceans from rivers. He takes us through baby steps. You begin to look at the fact that every amount that you're saving, it counts, and that it is worth it. Then you will be able to go through these little sacrifices so that you can move yourself from your present situation into a better tomorrow. So homework, go through your expenses today and see what you can cut off. Tip number 3, increase your income. You can increase your income by getting a part-time job or changing your present job to something that pays better. You know, I've seen people who are so broke or they're in a financial mess, and when you propose to them maybe little side hustles and things that they can do, they're like, no, I'm just too big for that. No, that is just too small for me to do. Let me tell you, people who are desperate for a change, they keep ego aside. You keep that ego aside for that time being until you can get out of that mess. But if you're in a place where there is job scarcity and you could barely even find the job that you presently have, what you can do is find ways to grow even within that profession. You know, work harder, go the extra mile. There are people that, let me tell you, from day one that they get into a place, they already have a goal for where they want to be, and they start working hard from day one. If today there was a position that showed up for an increase or for a promotion, will they pick you? I mean, everything being equal, let's keep aside maybe discrimination and biases. If everything was being equal, will you be chosen? So we have to think of our attitude when we are at work. You know, work such that when you are leaving that job, they are feeling like they are missing somebody. And that is how you create opportunities for yourself. Secret number 4, surround yourself with like-minded people. There are a lot of people who are broke today because of the company that they keep. Don't be angry, envious, jealous, intimidated, you know, by people who are heading down the right path when it comes to financial growth. You know, if you surround yourself with people who have the wrong mindset, like I had earlier said, you will not even set financial goals, not to even talk of taking steps towards accomplishing them. If you surround yourself with people who believe that, you know what, it all ends here and today, let us just squander everything today and not think about tomorrow, then you will squander everything today and you will not think about tomorrow. If you spend or surround yourself with people who believe that, you know what, our story can never change, then you will just form this pity party, whine, complain, and your story will never change. If you surround yourself with the show-offs, before you know it, you will become one yourself. You will want to, start competing with them. I also want to go on exotic vacations. I also want to buy expensive cars like them. I also want to put on, designer clothes when I'm around them. Your company, you're going to want to copy what is going on in your company. You want to keep up with the Joneses, but you may just end up never being one, and you will not have a good night's rest. Not that there is anything wrong in getting expensive things and enjoying the money that you work for, but if you are on a low income and you are in debt and you are not able to save, then that is not a reasonable goal to set. But when you surround yourself with the right people, you begin to see opportunities where you were not seeing them before, right? When you surround yourself with people who are thinking in a certain way, you see a lot of opportunities for financial growth. When you surround yourself with the right people, you also have people around you who can hold you accountable when you're spending more than you should, or when money begins to get to your head. You also have people who can encourage you when they go and get stuff, because it's not easy when you are on a low income to save. A question for you: what kind of friends do you have around you? Are they people who challenge you to grow financially and otherwise, or are they the reason why you are in the financial mess that you are in right now? And even the saddest part is that at times we get into all this financial mess, not even for friends, but at times to impress people that we do not like, who will even end up not being impressed. Number 5, be patient. It takes time to build wealth. I'm so tired of this get rich quick schemes that are all over the place. It's really building a wrong mindset, especially in the minds of young people. Somewhere they feel that I can just be lazy, have no work ethics, no discipline. I will not build my mind, build my brain, train myself to be disciplined. I'll just sit down, watch movies all day, and money will just get into my account. It's not that way. We have to work hard. Even the Bible tells us that a lazy man should not eat. It also tells us that a little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty will come over you. So we are supposed to, work hard, put in that effort, do our part. But it's not God's design that we should go through this journey from a place of constantly being anxious and being worried. There's just this hype out there, and sometimes we can really just get caught up in all of that hype, and we just get lost somewhere. It is really not His will. It is not His design. God desires that we should work from the place of rest. When it comes to money, are you always having anxious thoughts, being worried, wondering where it's going to come from? What am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? All of those things. God tells us that we should relax and seek Him first. Do you know why? Because He is the source of money, and it is He who gives us the power to make wealth. And I understand that it's not as easy as I'm saying it, because even I myself, I can still remember times when I have been worried and concerned, about meeting needs. But we have to keep on reminding ourselves that we have to lay everything at the cross and seek God first, and all those other things will be added to us. He knows what we need even before we say a thing. I would like to conclude by saying that our needs and our wants are just a reminder of our insufficiencies. We will never be self-sufficient outside Christ. Money can never give your whole life security. Anything that can be lost, people, money, things, they can never give you security. So let your trust be in the source, God, and not the tool, money, because God can choose to use any other tool to get the job done. So be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Please give a thumbs up if you found this helpful. And I know that this is not an exhaustive list of things. So if there are other things, tips, hacks, and secrets that you have used in the past to save money on a low income, please share with us in the comment section below, because we're on this journey together. We have to bloom and flourish even in our financial life. Thank you all so much for watching. See you in the next video.